Hey guys, welcome back to your daily. Today's daily, we're on day 4. It's titled Christmas Calories Don't Count. I know it's March, but hey, right? We're doing this, and whatever day you're on is the day you're on. We're on day 4. Run your race, 365-day devotional. All right, Christmas calories don't count. Boy, I wish this were true. But you will find that if you toss all caution and care to the wind, come mid-January, you will be an average 7 pounds heavier. A lot of people vacillate between gaining weight and losing weight. Nutritionists call it yo-yo dieting. Typically, someone trying to lose weight will get stuck. Because the body will hit a plateau in weight loss, something drastic has to be done in order to continue to lose weight. It gets hard. That person will get frustrated and return to their normal way of eating, and typically will gain all the weight back, plus some. Our spiritual life is no different. I've known way too many people walking with the Lord come to a place where they get stuck and fall backwards to their old life. And they find themselves living in pig slop and then come back only to have made a huge mess of their life. God never intended for you to vacillate between two worlds. But not much has changed since the Old Testament. 1 Kings 18:21 records, "And Elijah came to all the people and said, 'How long will you falter between two opinions? If the Lord is God, follow him. But if Baal, then follow him.' But the people answered him not a word." What do you do when you get stuck and life gets hard? You press into Jesus. You press into what God says is good, right, pure, and true. You press into the Word. You press into church. You can and will get past hard times. Jesus goes with you and you are not alone. But do not go back just because it's hard. You have to press in. So I want to talk about this dieting for a minute, because anybody that's ever gone on a diet, now, if you're like 30 or more pounds overweight, when you go on a diet, you do something drastic, you change your eating, and you can drop 20 pounds sometimes in a month. That's not uncommon. You can drop a lot of weight really fast because your body is like shocked. It's like, whoa, okay, you're doing something different. Now, what happens in weight loss is that at some point you come where you hit a plateau where you're doing the same thing. What happens is your body is getting used to the calorie reduction. If you're walking, your body gets used to that. So your body is getting used to where it's at, and you come to this plateau. If you want to lose more weight, what do you have to do? You have to get past that plateau. It means you have to make another change. You have to do something drastic. So let's say if you've been walking, well, now you got to start walking uphill. You got to burn more calories. You got to start running. You got to do something to increase that. You don't necessarily want to take in less calories, because that your body will get used to less calories, and then you come to the plateau again with less calories. What you want to do is increase your body to burn more calories. But what happens with people is that they'll go on a diet for a time, then they get stuck, then they just go back to eating because they're like, well, that didn't work for me. Or it worked for a time, but now it's done. I got to go back to this, right? And it's called yo-yo dieting. First of all, it's really hard on your body to gain weight, lose weight, gain weight, lose weight. It's really hard on your body. It's hard on your system. But we're not meant to do that. Your body's not meant to do that. Your body wants to stay a certain weight. It's meant to be a certain weight. It wants to stay at that weight. And so a fluctuation of a couple pounds of water is not a big deal. But this yo-yo dieting, when you're having these huge fluctuations, it's not good for your body. And so, right, and you probably know people like this, or maybe it's you. You got to a point where you're stuck and you're like, this is dumb, this is stupid, this is not working. So you just go back to eating the same way that you always have. And what happens? You gain all the way back plus some. That's what happens. Ask anybody that's lost that much weight. If you go back, you just gain everything that you lost plus more weight. So now you're in a bad place again. And the spiritual walk, folks, is no different. And I've seen this, and even as I talk, often I think about certain people. And I'm thinking about someone in particular that by all means, their life was, I want to serve God, I'm going to do these great things for God, and I have all this sort of stuff. And then it becomes a time where it gets hard. And I'm just going to tell you that the Christian walk, the burden is light and it's beautiful. And I love serving the Lord, but it's not easy. And so it does get hard because why? You have to go against friends. You have to go against family sometimes. You definitely have to go against the world. We have to come out of the world. We have to be separated from the world. We have to be separated from culture. And people aren't going to understand why you do things. They're not going to understand why you want to be in church on Sunday instead of, being out doing what they're doing. That you want to be in the house of God on Wednesday nights. You want to be in prayer. You want to be in Bible studies. They don't understand those things. And so what happens is that you'll get something will become hard. It'll be hard to do. Either you're a people pleaser and you have to go against friends. Maybe you're struggling with something. I don't know. It just gets hard. And the first instinct is for people to go back to what they know. I've seen it so many times. Well, I'm just going to go back to what I know. I'm going to go back, and it was easier when I was living in the world. It was easier when I was doing these things. But see, they want to hold on to a part of Christianity. And this is where that Elijah verse comes in, because they know better than just to go all the way back into the world and I'm not going to just jump into sin. I'm just going to go a little bit back into the world and claim Christ. So I'm going to go and I'm going to do all these things and I'm going to say, oh, look what God's doing in my life and look at here, look at there. Although you know that it's not God. You know that that's not what you're supposed to be doing. You know that's not what you're called to do. And this is the day in Elijah's day where the people were vacillating between serving Baal, right, and the culture around them and fitting in with society, fitting in with people, and being separated, how God had called the people of Israel to be separated. And I love this portion of Elijah, and you can go and read it in 1 Kings chapter 18 because there's so much to it. It's the one where the prophets of Baal are like cutting themselves and come down fire from heaven. And Elijah says, whoever can bring down fire, that's who God is. And they try all day. They can't do it, right? It's the one where Elijah then goes and he pours water all over the altar, pours water, just like drains it with water. And he calls down the Lord to bring fire, and the fire eats up all the water. The fire eats up everything. And Elijah is doing this as to show the people of like, you guys know God is God. You guys know who God is. God, you guys know what God demands of you. And he says, but you're faltering between these two opinions. You're yo-yoing. Yo-yo dieting, right? You like all this rich food, but you want to be thin. That's not what he's saying, but you know. You want the things of God, and you know that's where the power is. You know that's where God has called you to. You know that you're supposed to be separated from things, but you can't really separate from the world. Can't really separate from people because it's a draw, right? It's that vacillating. It's apathetic towards the things. It's being double-minded, unstable in all your ways. And people would say it's lukewarm, but it's more than lukewarm because a lukewarm person is someone that says, well, I do what I want to do. Laodicea means judgment of the people. I've taught that before. Might have to teach it again. And so like the Israelites, and you vacillate between two opinions. You vacillate between these things, between living in the culture and doing things with the world and being a part of the world. You can't really separate out of the world. This is most of Christianity right now. Just want you to know that. This is most of Christianity. This is most of the people. They're living in this where they want to be a part of the world. They want to live in the world. They want to do what the world does. But they still want to put Christ's name on it. And I want to bring that to you today. If you're vacillating between two opinions, if you're vacillating between living in the world and living the Lord, and it's presented like Elijah, it's presented, you have a choice. Either give yourself fully to the Lord or give yourself fully to the world. Don't vacillate between two opinions. If the God of this world is your God, then just go serve him. Just go do everything. Go get drunk, go sleep around, go mess around, just go do all that. And that's what Elijah's saying. But if God is God, then you need to completely separate from the world. Separate from those things. Quit doing the things of the world. Quit going the world's way. Quit living for the opinions of men and live for the opinion of God. You live to please the Lord. That means, right? It means you read your word, you're praying, you find yourself in the house of God. Listen, if you are not in the house of God, you are rebellious. Get in the house of God. Get under spiritual authority. Start going to Bible study. Be in the house of God. Folks, more than once a week. We've got so much stuff going on. Lone wolf Christianity, individual Christianity is not of God. You need to be, the gathering is not gathering with who you want to. The gathering means coming together as a whole. That word is assembly, and in the Greek it means a whole, assembling. Do not forget the assembling, the whole of ourselves. Do not forget to come together as a whole. So it's not that you get to pick and choose who you want to gather with, who you're oh yeah, we're out doing this together. I'm serving God in the ocean, and I'm serving God in the forest. Stop. I'm having church. Just stop. You're lying to yourself. Go to where the word is being preached, and the word is being preached often. That's what Spurgeon said. Go to where the word is being preached, and the word is being preached often. Give yourself fully to one or the other. So this is my statement for you today. This is what I want to pose to you. If you are vacillating, if you are yo-yoing between the world and the Lord, pick one. Choose one. Because you cannot have the world. And the New Testament says this, that if you are a friend of the world, you're an enemy of God. There's no middle ground, guys. It's very black and white. You either serve God, it's all about him, everything's about him, everything's for him, your life is forfeit, you are not your own, you are bought with a price, therefore you glorify God with your body, with your mouth, with everything that you are, it's all for him. Or go live in the world. So that's what I want to present to you today. Make your choice. If Baal is God, then serve him. If God is God, then serve him. No middle ground, guys. Choose this day whom you will serve. All right, so that's my daily for today. Hope you guys got something out of it. As always, send me a comment, right? If you want a book, you can order one at sewardhousepublishing.com, or you can contact me directly. I can get you a book. You can have one of these. This one's $20, $5 shipping and handling. All right, thanks for joining me. See you guys next time.